What's up, y'all? You got Will and Josh and our good buddy, Mr. Justin Rackley here.
Howdy.
We are live in camp in Oklahoma, and it's kind of a little bit of a bittersweet thing. We're wrapping up a pretty freaking awesome week out here in Oklahoma. So, you have killed in Oklahoma or hunted in Oklahoma before?
Once southern, but never out west. It's a different ball game.
It's a special place, and we've been coming back here year 3 now, and it's gonna be an annual thing. We decided that, and glad we got to introduce you to it, man.
Well, thank you for the invite.
Yeah, dude, we wouldn't have wanted it any other way. But yeah, I just wanted to do a little recap of the week. You got a pretty big buck, man.
A mature buck. I was the first one to tag.
Dude, you almost did on the first sit.
I know. I got the nervousness though. You know, I got ding.
Oh, I know.
The fever.
I got buck fever, man.
The fever. The tarsal gland fever.
I couldn't.
You could smell it.
I was like, and the added pressure, I was like, I don't want to screw up. That'd be the worst. A whole week, wound a buck or something, and just crawl into a hole.
Shoot it in the hindquarters. I mean, what the? I mean, that would be awful. It'd be the worst.
It would be.
I probably wouldn't hunt if I did that.
Yeah.
I would just stop. I'd just hang it up and take up like underwater basket weaving or something.
You know how many times I've heard my great uncle talk about guys shooting deer in the ass and just like, it's just absolutely like the lowest form of living. And I got to experience that this week for the first time ever.
We all did.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, Will was a big part of it too.
I was the savior. I wasn't a part of it. I was the savior.
He was the saving grace.
I kept you from jumping off a ledge.
Yeah.
What would you do without me?
I'd be just sitting here right now, just nodding my head, looking at you guys, just.
But it is your MO to overcomplicate shit.
That's true.
Oh,
that's true.
I think your deeds came in to play at the end of the week.
My deeds.
Your good deeds. they paid off in the end.
I'd say.
I think they did. We'll get to that.
A big buck with a booner frame.
Oh my
gosh. Just a great animal.
And with an audience. But we'll get to that. But Justin, you are in the fishing world. You're a big bass guy. That's how you got your name in the YouTube world. And I want you to give just kind of the audience just a quick little skinny of who Mr. Rackley is for those who are listening. Yeah, just a little synopsis of yourself for those that may not know who you are.
Well, I started out a YouTube channel on a little place called Lake Fork years ago, over a decade ago. And
a little place.
It was the first time I ever went out to Lake Fork. I was just enthralled by it. Looked like a video game. Like, I'd fished a lot of lakes around DFW that looked, like just man-made type.
The same.
Rip-rap, kind of gross, a little bit of muddy water, catch fish, but going out to East Texas for the first time was special.
Yeah.
See the lily pads, the shoreline grass.
The gators.
Yeah. You see, you could literally see bass swimming around in the grass, and a whole community based around fishing.
Yeah.
Like, that was life over there. So when I saw that, I was like, this is where I want to go in life. So as soon as I graduated college, I went there and started guiding fishing, and I saw a little bit of a need for some information on YouTube for bass fishing stuff. I was learning a lot. So I started posting videos, and that's kind of where the channel began and progressed from there. And hunted very rarely in that time until probably about, honestly, like 5 years ago. Started getting into hunting. Yeah. But yeah, fishing's always been my background, but probably like a lot of people watching, I like to dabble in both. And I've done so much fishing. I've seen a lot. There's still a lot to see, but hunting, I feel like an infant, and everything is just so new and exciting. And so coming on like a trip this week is, I just take in so much. But yes, I still upload fishing videos. We'll do that as long as I can. But yeah, I like to integrate a little hunting.
And some camping stuff too.
And camping. Camp, dude. Camp is what makes it.
Yeah.
On a fishing trip, hunting trip, add the camping in. It just makes it way more memorable.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah, these trips like this, they're a lot cooler because, we've talked about it, like it's semi DIY pretty much. Like we've got access to property, but being able to come out here and just set up our camp like this is pretty freaking cool.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's probably places to stay within range. But
yeah.
There's nothing like having a campfire, having a stove tent, having a camp.
Mm-hmm. Some cold beverages.
Some cold beverages. Good food. Good peeps.
Yeah.
Talk about the day's events.
Like
there's a lot of events. Yes.
The HuntStand Podcast is powered by Muddy Outdoors. For Josh and I, we run Muddy because it plain works. From tree stands to box blinds and the new Deviate camo and boots, it's the gear we trust every season. When you're spending long hours in the woods, it makes a difference having equipment that's built for hunters by hunters. And that's why we stick with Muddy. To check it out, head to gomuddy.com.
Crossbow hunting has opened a lot of doors for keeping our hunting traditions alive. Crossbows have been great for bringing new hunters into our circle, but also for keeping older bow hunters in the field. No matter where you're at in your crossbow hunting journey, you can look to our partners at 10 Point to find the most diverse line of crossbows with the best of the best technology for virtually any budget. Head on over to 10pointcrossbows.com and use the crossbow selector tool to find your next setup.
We'll get to Justin and I's deer, but I think we need to address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Let's rip the Band-Aid off,
Okay.
Josh. What happened? Let's run through your deer.
So was that day 3?
Yes.
I believe.
That was yesterday.
Yep.
No,
so
day 4. Day
day
4.
four.
It's kind of a blur.
You were
it's
day
4.
3,
I was
yeah.
Day 3, yeah.
It is a blur because this entire trip for me and Logan, the man who's running the camera and producing the podcast right now, we came out of Minneapolis, and we've had a lot of great travels together. Everything's gone smoothly for the most part, but this one, we were due for things to fall apart. So our flight was delayed. The whole thing was delayed. We didn't get in here until much later than we anticipated. We were missing a bag.
24 hours later.
Yeah, we were a day late basically to camp. So the whole thing started off a little bit weird. But we got here, and I thought conditions were going to be phenomenal with the cold front that we've been experiencing this week. And it's just been like we've kind of witnessed a pattern in the last 2 years of hunting here. It's been very consistent, but this cold front actually like changed things up. Not for the worse, but like it was just different than what we're used to.
Well, and I think to kind of lay it up for folks out there, they had a lot of rain out here, which, it's always great when you get it in the spring and summer. It helps everything, but kind of hurt the hunting a little bit because they weren't as concentrated.
Why is that?
They've got more forage. They've got more to eat. It just
More options.
more options out there. They got more places to go pick up a cup of coffee. They don't have to stop by at the buffet that we set out for them.
Yeah, so you're gonna have healthier deer, but you're gonna have deer that aren't as concentrated.
They're not as dependent.
Right. Yeah. So the pattern ability decreases, but the health increases. Theoretically, the antler growth should increase when you have a higher moisture year. And then also, as we're coming up on right now, or we just started right now, according to HuntStand's rut map, is the second rut.
Yeah, we're in the second rut here.
The second rut largely depends on either does that have not been bred during the first rut. If there's a high, if there's a high doe to buck ratio where there's a lot more does than there are bucks, then you're more likely to get a good second rut where those does haven't been bred. Otherwise, under relatively normal circumstances, you're probably going to have, your second rut is going to depend on fawns going into estrus. And fawns will only go into estrus if they're at a healthy enough body condition to do so. So when you have a high moisture year like this, you're probably going to have a bunch of fawns.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know fawns went into estrus.
They can.
Yeah. So if they are at a healthy enough body condition, they'll cycle in the second rut. So typically they won't cycle in the first rut, but today, December 5th, in this area that we're at, it is December 5th, right?
5th through the 18th was the second rut.
Yeah. So
crazy.
HuntStand's whitetail rut map lays this out for the entire country, and the majority of the country, it's based off of fetal measurements.
Yep.
So a guy on our team, Brian Murphy, worked with a bunch of whitetail biologists and state biologists from all the different states, all the way down to a county level. And most states have fetal measurements, so they can determine exactly when the conception was to determine exactly when the rut is. So second rut here starts December 5th, which is today.
Yep.
And that's when you're actually going to start seeing that second cycle for any does that didn't get bred or fawns that are capable of breeding. So we've been seeing that. You talked about the moisture levels. So it's interesting because where we're at, it's like the habitat is concentrated, the food sources are concentrated. It's pretty barren country. You can't grow food plots like you can in the Midwest. You can't grow brassicas, and you can't really grow soybeans, and you can grow some corn, but you got to have a pivot. It's dry country. It's arid. There's a lot of sandy soil, all that kind of stuff. So it's tough to grow greens. And so you see wheat fields and you see some other green fields, stuff that doesn't require a lot of moisture. But on a year like this, the deer have had such great browse and natural food sources that they don't have to concentrate quite as much. So you made a really good point with that.
Yeah, they don't have to. And what was the buck to doe ratio on that pivot? I felt like it was 1-10.
Oh my goodness. I've never seen that many deer in my life.
I never have while hunting outside of the state of Texas.
So I think 2 nights ago I sat on a different pivot, and that's what's really interesting about around here. I mean, within a 20-mile radius, around here, because of the difference in habitat types, like there are drastic differences in the deer herds. So where we're sitting right here in this very camp, and the properties that we hunt that are literally directly connected to this camp, like we can glass out of where we're parked here at this camp.
Yeah.
And stand in the back of a truck and glass. I watched some deer tonight.
Literally one of our stands was right over there.
Yeah, you can see one of the main box blinds just from camp here. Here it's a pretty decent buck to doe ratio. But some of the other areas we experienced this week, like where I sat 2 nights ago, on a river bottom property with a big wheat field pivot, we saw 80 deer that evening, and 75 of them were does and fawns. So granted, some of those are going to be buck fawns, button bucks that you couldn't identify because they didn't have even a spike. But 75 antlerless deer to 5 antlered deer, and only one of which was a 3-year-old buck.
That's crazy.
Whoa.
Crazy ratios.
It's out of control.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, per nature, it's supposed to be pretty close to 50-50. But to have it be, so what's the math on that? 75 to 5 Help me out with that. I'm not great at math. Is it like 18?
I can't think right now.
It's like 1 to 18 or something like that. So
Well, over here was like, we didn't see that many does
yeah, it's
on this spot.
pretty much it's close to 50-50 right here.
Yeah, because some of our spots are like 20, 30 miles north of here.
Yeah.
Where I killed.
And I mean, even to the naked eye, like it doesn't look that much different. But for whatever reason, it's there are very different ratios in a close proximity here.
Mm-hmm.
So around here, about 50-50, where I was the other night in that deer herd,
1 in 8.
1 in 18.
Or 1 in 18, yeah. 1 in 10, whatever.
And then where you killed last night, what do we figure? 1 in 10?
There's no telling. I mean, once that buck stepped out in the field, I was zoned in.
Man, what's better? Like, as far as seeing just dozens and dozens of deer and like having that, like, one's going to step out. Or just nothing and then
bam,
it's like a buck, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
You had the best of both worlds.
Yeah, you did, which is pretty rare. Like, based on my experience, like 2 nights ago when we were sitting and we saw these deer keep piling out, and then there's 80 out there, I looked at Cole and I was like, this is not, like, big mature bucks do not want to live around a bunch of deer in competition like that.
On that pivot field.
Right.
On that pivot
People
field.
who are listening and watching are probably like, all right, this is getting confusing.
This episode is brought to you by Stealth Cam, delivering industry-leading trail cameras built for serious hunters. When it comes to monitoring food plots or patterning deer, Stealth Cam gives us the clarity, reliability, and tools we count on season after season. Explore the full lineup at stealthcam.com.
When it comes to ammunition, the only way you're going to find the best match for your next hunt is if you've got options. And that's exactly what you'll get from our partners at Federal, the biggest line of ammo that you'll find anywhere. Federal loads their own award-winning bullet designs, like Terminal Ascent, one of our favorite all-around hunting bullets. And you won't find any shortage of time-tested favorites like the Nosler AccuBond, all-copper Barnes bullets, or even the Sierra Game King. And if you're one of us who enjoy the benefits of shooting a suppressed rifle with a shorter barrel, check out the groundbreaking 7mm backcountry. It's a proprietary cartridge design from Federal that achieves maximum performance, even from shorter barrels. Get loaded up for your next hunt at federalpremium.com.
Yeah, let's wrangle it back to your deer. So you were sitting in the spot where I killed a big non-typical last year. It's a spot we love, we know. We don't really have a name for it. But walk us through what went down your morning. You had some deer. We'd kind of been going back and forth. We had snow and sleet that morning. It was ripping wind, so conditions really weren't ideal for deer movement.
Right.
But
so the primary blind that we sit in on that property accommodates. I mean, it'll accommodate a north or a south wind decently. You don't want any western bias. Eastern is great, but you just don't have a lot of east winds in general. So I had actually sat that a couple mornings before, and I freelanced it, and I hunted the opposite side because we had a west wind.
yeah,
So I just sat on the ground. I saw a mature buck that was a half rack, and I think I saw like 3 does that were just hauling ass, trying to get back to bed that morning. But hasn't been a lot of pictures there. There is a feeder on that place. Hasn't been much for trail camera images, and based on what I saw there wasn't much going on. And based on what you saw there, because you had sat there the first morning,
it was a ghost town.
Yeah, it was a ghost town. And it gets in your head. You're used to, you either want to see deer or get trail camera images, but as Cole and Caden kept repeating, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Most of the big deer they kill out here, they never see and they never get on trail camera.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to get that out of your head.
Yeah,
So
you do. You do.
when I sat there yesterday morning, like, it was definitely in my head. I was like, I don't know. This feels like kind of a wasted sit because I'm so conditioned to like wanting to have intel. But at this stage of the year, when bucks are cruising again, going into the second rut, especially with the habitat type out here, these deer can cover miles and miles and miles, and it's no big deal. Like
I was surprised when you said you were going to go back there. I was like, man, it's a ghost town. Like, why do you want to? Why?
It worked for the wind, and the way it is out here, like we've seen, like they ping pong around these pieces of cover, and they cover so much ground. And so I get in there 2 mornings ago, get in there plenty early, and I'm just, as soon as it starts breaking light, I'm glassing, and it's 360.
Yeah, you got stuff everywhere you can look at.
Yeah, 360 around you. They can come from anywhere. I was primarily focused on the upwind spots where you'd expect they would come, but I was checking my downwind side too, because you just don't know, especially with a rifle. I mean, if they're far enough out, they might not get you, and so I just kept checking and checking and checking. I did have a mature buck roll through the drainage right below me. I had him for about 5 seconds. I pulled up my rifle, poof, and that was that. By the time I got on him, he was gone. And if they don't come out of these drainages here, you're never going to see them. They're like gullies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're like these steep crevasses.
Just nasty.
Almost like they're like miniature canyons.
I mean, they pretty much are.
And the bottom is like, can be like 5 yards wide.
But
and there's like
flat.
one trail going through there. And so he vanished. It was a deer. He had a limp, and then I ended up seeing him a while later, way off on the horizon. I glassed him up, and he was limping across, heading back to bed, because this drainage just goes forever. And so I'm watching HuntStand's whitetail activity forecast called for 10 a.m. peak movement.
We had texted about that morning.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm going to at least hang in until at least 10, but probably 10:30. I gotta give credence to this because it's just
Play it through.
It's always right. It's just
It has been.
It just is. It's ridiculous.
It has been.
So I go from seeing like almost no movement, like that one deer slipped through, and then right sometime before 10, all of a sudden I saw a doe and a couple fawns just go blazing out of this bottom, and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me, because it was coming up on 10 o'clock. It had been dead before that. They go blazing out of this bottom. I figured a buck was going to be chasing them. Never saw anything behind them.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a buck or a coyote busted them out. Something busted them out of this bottom. They ran up on the hillside, and they went to the next piece of cover. They hung out. And then a little while after that, which was literally right about 10 o'clock, I think it actually might have been 10 o'clock when HuntStand predicted it.
Yeah.
I heard a deer blow behind me on my downwind side. I look back. I'm scanning with my eyeballs. You'd think you'd be able to see everything because it's pretty open country. I don't see anything, so I pull up my binos, and I just start scanning, and I just see a head and a rack sticking out behind this thick piece of cover. It's a piece of brush that's like 10 yards long.
Not big.
Or, I mean, like 10 feet long, out in the middle of this open stuff. It was the only piece of cover, and he was just, he was gravitated on it like a magnet, like a fish would be, in Justin's terms.
Yes.
Like he found the next piece of structure.
On that brush pile.
And that was like, because it's so scarce out here, like they use every bit of cover they can. So he clearly was coming back or cruising. He was either coming back to bed in my drainage, or he was cruising through late in the morning. He caught my wind. He didn't know where it was coming from. He ran to the next piece of cover out in this opening, which is just a 10-foot wide piece of like shitty brush stuff. He stands behind it, and I just happened to see him, and I could see his head and antlers sticking out. And long story short, I waited. I got a really good shooting position as best as I could in this box blind. And as soon as he stepped out, I shot. I heard the impacts. I'm running a suppressor. And I reloaded, got back on him. I was shocked to not see him fall, so I shot again. Missed. No connection at all. Didn't hear an impact. He runs off again, stops. I had 3 rounds in my rifle. I shot for the 3rd time, missed again, didn't hear an impact.
Wow.
I still don't understand why or how. All the shots felt good. And
Buck fever, baby.
I guess.
Buck
I mean, there's I don't have any other explanation. I wish I knew. I wish I knew because they all felt good. So it's got me rattled.
Yeah.
But he ended up. I thought maybe he went in the next piece of cover and died. And then shortly after, I watched him walk out of there from left to right.
Let's also address that you didn't have your full pack with everything that you normally take. You
that's
ran a little short on ammo.
That's an important takeaway.
Yeah.
I can tell anybody who's listening or watching the few times where I've gone into the field, big game hunting or turkey hunting, and I didn't have extra ammo with me.
Always take more.
It's been a problem.
Always take more.
I left my pack in Cole, who is one of the dudes who runs this operation.
Mm-hmm.
I left my pack in his truck the night before, expecting that he was going to be joining us in the next morning, and he didn't come back. He had some other stuff to do. So as I was walking to the blind that morning, it dawned on me, and I'm like, shit, I've got 3 rounds.
Better make the most of them.
And in my head, I'm like overconfident, like, oh, it'd be crazy if I needed more than 1. And then here we are 3 rounds deep, and this buck is standing there with his tail flicking. And I could have sent God knows how many more rounds, and I didn't have them. I mean, I was like ready to dig under the carpet in the blind looking for just random 6.5 Creedmoors.
See if there's an old 6.5
Dude,
round sitting in there.
I saw a spent shell in there from when you killed the coyote the other morning, and I was like, wonder if he dropped a round in here.
I wasn't shooting 6.5 Creedmoor.
I was going to fit your 308 in there somehow.
Oh, my God. Don't know.
But
that does not work out well for those that are listening.
This buck wanders off. He goes into the next drainage. Long story short, Will shows up with an additional rifle a while later, and we do a very organized deer drive, if you will, and I ended up shooting this buck. The first shot was poor. I hit him way far back.
Yeah.
And I ended up finishing him when we did that makeshift deer drive. But
that was the first deer drive I've ever been a part of. Something we don't do here not here in Texas. I mean, it's something we don't do in Texas.
Yeah. It was
It's kind of cool though.
It was cool, and I preach about this all the time because I've seen. I mean, as much as we plan and prepare for everything to go perfectly, a lot of times it doesn't. So when things go south, it's almost just as important for you to prepare for doing it right the first time as it is for you to prepare for when shit hits the fan.
I take away, carry some extra rounds in your bino harness, and always have your pack near you.
Absolutely.
It stays with you.
Yes.
That's too big.
Oh, and yeah, that's just a good rule of thumb in itself. Like the old, if you're Western big game hunting, never leave your pack behind. As tempting as it is, I'm just going to drop some weight and make this stalk. Next thing you know, you're a ridge over and you're like, where's my pack? I don't have my pack.
Didn't drop a mark.
Bad deal. Just carry your pack with you. But yeah. So that was that.
And you don't know what happened because
No, I don't.
But
I don't.
Thank God he went down. Like you were able to finish him.
Yeah.
Because you would have been in sore spirits the rest of the time.
I would have. Yeah, it's not how I want to end my season.
No.
So the takeaway for people is you gotta. I always say this, but you gotta see it through. You gotta see it through. Like I didn't have any faith that we were going to see that deer again, but you have to try. You got to do everything in your power to see it through, even when it's just like you're at your worst. Because I was down in the dumps. Will helped pick me up.
I know I got there and you were self-talk was not good, and I was like, hey, it's gonna be fine. We're gonna go find him. Let's finish this thing and let's get it done.
When you're hunting an animal that's inherently like a needle in a haystack, to go find a needle in a haystack after you've already tangoed with that needle in a haystack,
dude,
it's just like all odds feel against you. But
well, it's when
you
I
gotta
got
see it through.
when I got over there, we stalked over to where he had last seen him, and we get there, and I'm like, man, please, when we get over that little hump, please be a dead deer, please be a dead deer. Nada. And then we were sitting there talking for a little bit and just kind of glassing and looking, and all of a sudden we heard something crash in the drainage below us. I'm like, that's where he is. But the fence line for the neighbors was a couple 100 yards away. So we devised a plan. You were going to get up on the knob there. I went down the fence, went down the drainage, and the first thing I looked for when I got down there was in the gap. I'm like, all right, if I find blood here, we're going to have to call Cole, Caden, we're going to have to call neighbors and figure it out. Get down there, and I see the gap. There's not even really a gap. Like, whoever made that fence, nothing was getting through under or over that, in that bottom. So, like, they had to come out to get over the fence somewhere. So nothing. So that's when I started walking up, and I don't know how far I walked down that drainage. I don't know. It was probably like 30, 40 yards. And all of a sudden I just hear like this little, or it wasn't even a grunt. It was just like, I'm like, what the? I was like, what was that? And I thought it might have been you for a second. But then I kind of heard some stuff up in the brush, up on the ledge, and I'm like, let me get up on this ledge real quick. Pop up on that. About that time, I just see brown, like from me to Logan away, like, I don't know, 5, 6 yards, something like that. And then it just jets out. Boom! I'm like, please tell me he got him. Please tell me he got him. And that you did.
You were at the ready.
He was.
Yeah, it was something.
Yeah, but you got it done. You got it done. That was the second deer camp.
The HuntStand Podcast is powered by Yamaha Outdoors. For us, Yamaha side-by-sides like the Wolverine RMX 41000 LE are a game changer for us in the woods. Whether it's hauling gear to the deer stand, putting in work around the farm, or just hitting trails with the family, Yamaha delivers the reliability and comfort we count on. If you want to check them out and the full lineup of Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, and off-road vehicles, head to YamahaMotorsports.com.
We love all types of hunting, and that's why we love our partnership with Savage Arms. There are a lot of gun companies out there, but few that build pieces that cover every aspect of your life as a shooter. Savage gives you options for just about everything, from rimfires for plinking and small game hunting, to centerfire rifles for going after predators and big game, to shotguns for turkey hunting and wing shooting, even down to compact pistols for personal defense. When it comes to burning powder, we trust in Savage. And it's not just the variety of guns that is so impressive from Savage, it's the quality and innovation that has earned our respect. We're talking about technologies like the adjustable AccuStock and AccuTrigger, and the first all-American straight pull action with the Savage Impulse. You can see it all for yourself at savagearms.com.
Yeah, let's pull a rewind.
Yeah, we're gonna back it up a little bit. Justin, you had a crazy first day.
Crazy first day. It was weird. You know, you guys didn't say a ton. You were just like, you're going to see some good deer. And I was like, okay. So go out there. Got here, and we set up camp, and it got dark, so I really hadn't surveyed very much.
Shot the guns, and that was about it.
Shot the gun, and go out the first morning. As the sun's rising, I'm like getting a lay of the land, and I could see one of those drainages, but otherwise it looked kind of flat. And I'm like, man, where are these deer going to come? Maybe they'll come out of this drainage. And Cole was basically just saying like they breeze through there kind of thing. And a lot of the places I've hunted, just hunting like feeders and stuff, you're just
you're waiting for the
all right, get ready. This is like be ready at any moment. And had to get into that, really learning that the first morning, because me and Logan are sitting there, and literally, like HuntStand said, like the peak movement, they just come.
I think it was 8 a.m. that morning.
Yeah, and from 8 to 9, we just saw, we saw quite a few smaller deer, but then we saw some does, and then we saw a shooter came out, and immediately when I see the body bristled up, cold morning, and there was like 2 little spikes that were getting ready to rumble, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's nice. Get on that. And then Logan is like, big buck coming, and immediately those little bucks scram, and he comes in bristled up, and I was like, okay, this is the first morning I'm looking at a mature buck. Like, he looks good, but should I go for this? I was kind of, in
Don't want it to be over so soon.
Yeah, literally first morning, I was thinking, if this is what I'm seeing right now, like, what the heck am I going to see if I wait for a little while? But then, like, after seeing him kind of cruise, he was a little itchy. He was going to get on this doe. He's kind of in and out, searching. Kind of made the mental decision, just like, all right, we're going to throw up. So
Go time.
threw the gun up, and as soon as that happens, it starts happening. So I got on him. I felt okay, but he was like kind of behind some brush. Wanted him to. I was like, maybe they'll work out a little bit. He came a little bit further, stopped, and the crosshairs were going up and down like from his brisket to his back. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude, Logan, I don't feel great. I don't feel great about it. I don't want to be that guy that comes in like first day, wounded deer. We're calling guys in to like go search for it. That would be the worst. So I was like, maybe he'll come again, or maybe we'll see something else. Give it a little time. So let that buck pass, I guess. And it was really just me being nervous, but he went through, and then really didn't see much after that, like after the 9 o'clock period. And then later that day, we go back what we called the tin can.
The old tin can, baby.
It's just a metal blind out there on this little
It's a
slope.
soundboard.
And anything you do in that blind is like so loud.
Boom! Bam!
It is,
Whoop-a!
yeah, anything you do, you have to be like so strategic. And so it took a little bit to figure that out. And then there was a window that was like, I thought it was like stuck, like kind of locked. And I was like, I don't think anything's going to come from over there anyways. So just kept it closed. And then that afternoon, wasn't seeing much. But then all of a sudden I look, and there's a good buck, shooter buck, coming into this drain. So he's working into the drain. I'm like, okay, he's probably going to come like up towards the feeder area. He's coming right towards us. So starting to get ready, and then he just disappears. I'm like, oh, crap. But I have my grunt call. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to grunt him out.
Yeah.
Because that morning I'd grunted in like a little 6-point. It was cool. I was like, I could probably grunt him from here. And I'm searching for my grunt call, and it had fallen out. Like it got stuck on some brush on the walk-in. It was like a 400 walk-in. And so it got stuck somewhere. It fell out. And then I'm just looking for the deer, and I'm kind of like start to bob and weave. And as I go left, I see him, and he's like 100 yards from where he was over to the right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just standing there like doing this, and he's not looking at us. I think he's just looking for a doe. He's sniffing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, let me try to get in position. We're doing the rodeo, trying to figure out, okay, do I need to get like where Logan is, or can I get out this window? I try to get the window undone, and it's like stuck. And I'm like, I don't think that's gonna happen. And Logan's like, just bust it out. So I just go like this, and it pops out, makes a noise, and and then he starts to look a little bit, and I didn't even have time to get on. He just went into the grass, and just like he just evaporated
Into thin air, just gone.
just gone. And I'm like, well,
Just
that's
gone.
how fast it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just gone.
So got a little learning lesson on that first day. And then for the next couple of days, we went back to the tin can, because how can you not? and it was pretty slow, especially in the mornings. Didn't see much.
Well, we should also mention, like, me and Will, like, we weren't in them. Like, we weren't seeing.
Dude, you
That's
were
what was
you
weird.
were you were
Yeah.
on the school that was on fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were in the spot. So, like, there's two options on a hunt, like, where you have multiple places to sit with the wind direction.
That was the other
This
thing.
time of year, like, where it's still, like, they're cruising, like, there's some rut stuff going on. It's like you either volume sit a spot because they're liable to just troll through there, or you bounce around, and either one of those can bite you in the ass. But I would argue that at this time of year, like, you're more likely to get bit in the ass if you bounce around. Like, volume sitting can be very effective if you do it smartly on the right wind.
Yeah, so I mean, after seeing that, we were just kind of tin can.
You guys were all about the
That's what your
tin can.
gut was telling you, man.
But we wanted to go back in the evening after that, but the wind had switched. So we had to go somewhere else. Ended up going to this pivot spot. We sat a blind that
That's right.
we were facing the opposite way of the pivot in this small field. And we saw a couple of smaller bucks. And then we come out of the blind, and there was like 40 deer out
Crazy
in this
amount of
field,
deer.
which is where you ended up hunting, alluding to that. But so when the wind switched back to the north, we went back to the tin can, had kind of a slow morning, and we're just like tin can. we got like every piece of gear situated. We'd figured out every creek.
Yep.
Like we were tying up
home.
the door to like keep it shut. We had everything kind of figured out. Opened all the windows, had them situated, and then it was slow. Like we weren't seeing many does, but then probably a 3-year-old buck came out, and I was like, oh, that's a good one. That's a really nice buck. Started to get like the itch, trying to glass him, but they're staying in those drainages.
Yep.
And like from a fishing aspect, it totally made sense to me. Those bigger deer are staying in those creek channels, if you want to call it that. That's like the highway.
It's fishing lingo.
Yeah,
that's fishing lingo.
That's what they were doing. And so when they pop out, they might pop out to check out doe, or they might, feed for a little bit, but they're going back in there and using that highway. So got to see them kind of through the trees using the brush, like you were saying, going from tree to tree. Like they kind of knew the deal. Like, I don't need to step out.
Yep.
It was too early, and we're like, all right, we'll just wait and see. And then another nice buck comes out, same age class, but good 8-point. And I'm like, Logan, I like this deer. This is looking pretty juicy, but it's still kind of early. And he's like, bro, just wait. I think something good's gonna come.
Really?
So
I didn't know that part of it.
We waited like half an hour. One of the bucks laid down. He bedded down. So that was cool to watch. And at one point, those 2 3-year-olds or so, they just kind of like go up to each other, sniff each other, totally comfortable. They're cool. It's like they're bros. And then they both look up at the same time, look in the same direction, and then they get up immediately and they separate, just get out of the way. There was like one little ridge down there, like 200 yards in this gully. And then I see the antlers and I see the body, and I just go into, where's the rifle?
Get the gun.
This is it. Like,
Get the
that's
gun.
it. We both said the same thought. Yep, there he is. He's coming. Didn't really look at his antlers. Like, didn't know. I couldn't have told you how many points he was. I just knew, like, bigger body.
Big dog.
Coming in. Big dog's coming in.
Oh, Kong.
Kong came in, but he did the same thing. He's, like, standing behind the brush. And those other bucks, they kind of go out. He's watching them, go out, and he's not going to come out till it's like either dark or I was thinking these things have been so skittish, he probably won't even come out. So I can just see through some trees where he is. I don't have a clear shot. He's behind some brush. Sat there. It felt like an hour, but it was probably 10 minutes of him just standing there, looking around, just being confident. And then he walked to the next little piece of brush. It's like a bass going to a stump.
Yeah.
Like stump to stump.
Just
They're
scooting to it.
staying on the cover, trying to stay concealed. But I tried stopping him, and I yelled, and I was like, hey, hey. And the wind was blowing. He couldn't hear me. He couldn't hear me. In those other bucks, I didn't even see him at that point. They were only like 100 yards in front of me. They were probably looking like, what's going on? This guy's yelling. But this buck luckily stopped between these two pieces of cover where I could see his vitals.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is it. This is it. Let's squeeze. And you were giving me that 7mm backcountry. It just, and I heard the impact. And I remember what you said, like, you know, get ready for another round because you just never know.
Rack it.
So I did. But when I re-racked, like he was gone, and he went down into what we then found out was like almost like a little pond. We went down there. It was just a hole, and he wasn't 30 yards. You know,
Dude.
He hardly went anywhere. But
That's freaking awesome.
It was really cool.
I know when I was sitting over at the Rose, and I just get the text in our group message, it's like, just sent one, boys. I'm like, let's go.
But I was nervous because when we were, just checking the gun, when I first got on the gong, I missed it twice.
I remember that.
I missed it twice, and you were like, well, it's sighted in at 200, so
Yeah.
it's going to be a little high, so aim low. But in my mind, just putting it on, I know the deer was about 200 yards, and I put it on, but in my mind, I was like, what if it was high? What if it was high? And as we analyzed the tin can, I did figure out there was like this metal bar that went across.
Yeah.
And I figured out if I put my elbow in there, I can get lock on.
Rock
So
solid.
it felt good, but in your mind, after you shoot, you're just like, I don't know, I don't see the deer. So
Yeah.
But luckily, yeah, he was down, man, and that broke the ice. We needed that.
Yeah, you did, because that was afternoon of day 3, and y'all were seeing mature bucks. I hadn't seen a mature buck yet at this point, so you could start to sense like a little bit of like uneasiness in the group, because you're like, man, we're at day 3. The past 2 years, like day 1, day 2, we're typically like somebody's got one down. But it's like, man, day 3. All right, somebody needs to do something here, and you got it done, man. You got it done.
Yeah, and you paid your dues. You paid your dues going around and helping Josh.
Being a part of my first deer drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool thing. That whole week, or the whole week, just had been slow for me. Like I said, I had a couple good sits, seen a lot of deer. Cole and I went into a new place and saw some deer, no shooters. And then, what was it? The morning after you shot, Josh and I went out the morning you shot. And the boys had said, like, hey, we went and brushed in the arm of that pivot on where you had seen all those deer, because you had mentioned that y'all saw
We came
a
out
big
and
body.
It was dark, but we just saw a bigger body amongst them, and it was like pushing does around, and
There was a big boy.
it was like a full moon, I think, almost. It was right
Yeah.
around the full moon, so you could see.
Yeah. So y'all had seen a big boy, and so after the two of y'all had killed, I'm like, well, it's still a successful hunt. I was already like accepting the fact that I wasn't going to shoot anything. Like, I had already accepted the fact that I was like, hey, it's been a successful trip. We got 2 deer down. Like, it's been a great time. Awesome camp. Like, at that point, I was like, if I don't kill anything, I'm okay. Like, I had accepted it. And I thought I was going to have to start chasing Curly around. Like, I literally thought, like, I was going to drop over the ridge one morning and try and shoot him from here from camp. Like, I figured that's what I might try to do. But, yeah, they had said that they gone and brushed that in, so me and Logan jetted off, like, after we dealt with your deer, and we knew we had to get in there early because, like, my gut was telling me, like, man, there wasn't movement this morning because of the snow, the ice, the wind. They're going to be out tonight because hunt zone showing wind's supposed to die. Activity forecast, I think, was 4 p.m. that night.
Mm-hmm.
And Logan and I just left camp. We jetted, and we pull up, and I look out into that pivot field because you got to drive by it. And I look out, and I already see deer out there. And I told Logan, I'm like, shit. I said, there's a lot of deer out there, isn't there? And he pulls his binos up, and he's like, yeah, there's a lot of deer. There's a lot of deer. And I got to look, and I'm like, dude, there's like already 40 deer out here. And it was...
What time did y'all get out there?
It was about a little after 2, because we left here at like 1:30-ish, 1:40.
Yeah, that's so early.
And so we got there just a smidge after 2, and I'm like, crap, they're way out here way earlier. So we park, get dressed, get all our crap, and we start walking over there, and we get to the corner of the field, and I'm looking, and I range all the deer at like six something. I'm like, okay, not happening here. And I'm looking across at that pivot, and I'm like, I can't do that. We can't run out to the pivot arm to sit down. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I start looking down the brush line. I'm like, maybe we set up here. But then I'm like, I don't like that. So I call Cole, because there's a little 2-track road that goes right down the edge of the field. And I call Cole, and I'm like, dude, these deer are out here already. I was like, should I go somewhere else? There's so much oil field traffic around here. He's like, man, he said, just drive your truck down there slow. They're used to trucks. They're going to bump off. It's going to give you enough time where you could bump them off, park, and get out there to the blind. So that's what we did. We just drove out there slow, and I got close enough. And I remember looking at all these deer. They ran down to the corner of the field, and I felt like I was looking at a herd of elk because there were so many of them. And then they hop over and just take off. And I couldn't believe it. Like, I haven't seen that many whitetail concentrated in a group like that ever. And they took off. So we immediately jet back, park, and we just make a beeline straight to, the makeshift blind. And it was really cool. We get out there, we're in the middle of this field, and, you're on this massive pivot arm, and you're just right at the center of it, and brushed in with tumbleweed. And we sit down, or we go to sit down.
Western.
We took chairs out there, and then we get out there, and immediately I'm like, okay, the chairs aren't going to work. I try to sit down to maybe use like the cross member of this pivot arm as a shooting rest. That's not going to work. And I mean, it probably took us like a solid 20 minutes to get settled and get things figured out. Like resituate tumbleweed. And there's a drain pipe for this pivot arm that spits out, and I'm looking at this thing. And I mean, it's like probably a foot in diameter. I looked at Logan. I'm like, dude, I'm just got this. I literally just straddle this thing.
Gotta straddle the
And
pipe.
I straddled the pipe. Had a raincoat in my backpack. And I'm like, you know what? That's going to be my cushion. So I sit on that thing.
Yeah, he's used to that.
I'm going to keep this PG for right now. So I get seated, and I just get the gun set up on the bipod, get it set up, locked in on the tricer, and I look out, and I can already see bodies out there from the sun glare.
Already.
And I knew y'all were going to be coming at some point because it sounded like there was going to be a glassing vantage and that y'all are going to be able to see the deer from like, I don't know, mile away, something like that. And deer just start pouring in. I mean, I think we had finally, like, after we had chased the deer off and everything and finally got settled, it was like 3:30. And deer just start coming in one after the other. Like, Logan and I are out there looking, like, oh, there's 4 more. There's 5 more. There's 5 coming over the top of the hill. Oh, I'm looking at 4 that just came out of the grass over here. And we get to the point where we just start counting deer. We had, like, this little one-sided buck that was out there that, actually, I say little-sided. He was one-sided, big mature deer, just broke off. And I just start counting deer. And I think at this point we knew y'all had, like, we're watching this just go down, and I'm just counting deer, and I'm like, all right, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Oh, my God, Logan, there's a massive buck. There's a jump.
HuntStand offers the very best in mapping, e-scouting, and even gear savings. And the best membership level that you can get through HuntStand is the new HuntStand Ultimate membership. We've got activity forecasts for whitetails, mule deer, elk, and blacktails, and we've got rut maps for all those species as well. And we've got great integrated mapping features like 3D national aerial imagery and a bunch of other base maps and overlays that you're going to want to be able to have access to hunt and scout the most effectively. On top of all that, as a HuntStand Ultimate member, you can get up to 50% savings on great gear from some of the top hunting brands. Go to huntstand.com to learn more.
All right, so hold on a second. We gotta interject our take.
We were there.
Y'all got to see him coming.
Yeah.
So we rolled in because I had to take care of my deer.
Yeah, you had to get him gutted and everything.
Yeah, I'd shot my deer that morning. So you guys rolled out. We stuck back here, took care of the preliminaries with my deer, and then we kind of leisurely rolled out there, expecting to glass and watch your hunt go down, which was just like the idea of it was just
it was
super
absurd.
Cool. I was like, Justin, we can go coyote hunting. We could go glass and watch those dudes, or what was the third option?
Stay here and just break
Yeah,
down.
stay here, just break down deer. I guess another option would have been to go shoot does, because clearly a few spots out here need to have doe shot.
I thought y'all might just go on doe patrol together.
Yeah.
But
we decided to come. We wanted to come out because the idea of that was pretty cool.
yeah, it was.
So we stopped to grab a little snack at the gas station on the way from the old hot
A
box,
little taquito.
which I'd never heard of before.
Dude, those look dangerous.
They call them hot boxes here.
They were.
I didn't know
good.
that.
Oh, those taquitos were good. Justin was like, "Nah, I'm good." And I brought an
passed.
extra one out, and he's like, "What we got? What do we got here?"
I tried it.
Yeah. Oh,
was
he
so-
tried the whole thing.
You know, it was some sort of goo inside of a.
Not
Crispy.
good.
It was a chicken
your
taquito.
wife would not be happy.
Yeah, I thought it might not end up good as we were sitting there,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
we held off for you.
Oh my god.
So we roll out to the spot, and we get out there, and we see all these deer. There's already like
Yeah, right when we pull
40 some deer or something like that.
So y'all must have literally showed up right before he came out.
Yeah,
up. Yeah,
it wasn't long.
probably
it was
5 minutes.
5
'cause
minutes.
We were kind of getting our bearings. We're like, okay, there's a pivot. We see them. We see this group of does. There's a half rack. And then all at once, it was like,
Dude.
oh my gosh, there's a big one.
Cole was like, big buck, big buck, big buck, big buck. And I'm like, I'm looking through my binos. I'm like, where? Because you're sorting through 40 deer, more deer coming from the south, jumping the fence. Like, it's just deer, 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 deer.
It was
deer,
insane.
Deer, deer. And I'm looking through 10 power, pretty good binos, but I mean, we're what?
Y'all were
800
about-
yards.
I couldn't find him when
I
Cole
think y'all were
found
about
him.
a mile.
I was looking with my naked eye, and the way the sun was hitting his white antlers
Dude.
from 600 yards,
I'm gonna look on HuntStand right now.
I think it was like 800.
You knew.
But we're watching, and then we're looking at you. So all in real time, we're running
Watching
two spotting
me.
scopes, binos, stabilized binos. We're watching this whole situation, and we're like, "Oh my gosh! Like that deer might actually be in range." And then Justin's like, "Oh yeah, I see Will. Like, he's like on his rifle. Like, he's like, and he might shoot." And then we're watching. It was one of the most tense things
It was
I've
a
ever
drama.
witnessed.
Dude, it was. All right, I'm looking at HuntStand real quick. Up to that road that y'all were on. 1,100 yards.
1,100.
1,100 yards, so close to a mile.
Wow.
Yeah, because when y'all pulled up, Logan's like, hey, because we heard a truck going down the county road. And Logan's like, hey, there's a truck up there that wasn't there before. And I look, and I'm like, at first, I looked, and it didn't look like Cole's truck. And I'm like,
Well, you had to be thinking this is some idiot because we were backing up.
Yeah.
going-
Yeah.
we
oh, I
did
never
like
saw that. Y'all
Oh,
were
really?
already out of the truck. Y'all were
we
already
like,
out.
Let's park here. No, let's go over here. No,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
reverse. Let's wait. And we kept going back and forth. And we're like, oh, Will's probably getting pissed.
No, because I mean the deer. Like I'd noticed a
didn't
couple
care.
of deer like looking up in y'all's general direction, but I had no idea what was going on up there because I was so focused on the deer, and they weren't really paying attention. I think a couple of them had kind of looked, and then when I looked up, I'm like, "Who the hell is that? That does not look like the guys." And then eventually, like I looked more. I'm like, "Okay, it's the guys," and I could see the four of y'all just like watching this. So the big buck comes out, and y'all are watching me like.
And we kept going. is he in range? We were trying to figure out, like, calculate, like, okay, how far is that really? And we knew it was a poke.
Yeah.
And every time he would, run left, right, we're like, oh.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it was like for y'all.
Oh, it was intense. It was intense. And every angle he would turn at, like he would turn away or he would turn forward, whatever. And it was like throughout the whole process, like we never got like burned out on the deer. We're like, whoa.
Imagine
Kept getting
me.
more
And
impressed.
Cole and Caden were like, the frame on that deer.
They were geeky.
The frame. Look at the frame on that deer. And I'm just like, I'd like step away from the spotting scope for a little while, then I'd be like, yeah, whatever. And then I'd look at it again and I'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
Like each time I was like, eek. We were all nervous. Legitimately, all of our hearts were like, we were all actually legit nervous. We were just like, oh man, and then he jumped the fence.
Oh.
Yeah. So when he first came down, because y'all saw him coming before he came over the fence to the pivot field.
Yep.
I didn't see him until he was right at the fence when he was looking, and all I saw was that massive frame. And as soon as I saw that, I was just like, dum, 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 dum. And the gun that I had, like, dude, I could see it through the scope, like what you were talking about. It was just like, dum, dum, dum. And I'm like, oh my God, I have got to calm down. And it took me like a solid 10, 15 minutes to actually get my heart rate to calm down and be like, I think you can hear it on camera, like me breathing out, like exhaling, like
trying to get
a
it
lot.
low.
A lot. And dude, just like watching him come through, and then when he hopped, I'm like, this deer's too big. I can't shoot this deer like that. I've never seen a deer like this before. Like I shouldn't be allowed to shoot this thing. But then I'm like thinking, okay, hold on. The guys are up there. If I don't shoot this thing, I'm never going to get to come back here again. And from where we were sitting to the edge where he came out was 409. I'm like, okay, I need him to get to 3. And I told Logan that. I said, I am not going to shoot him until he breaks 3. I said, I really started when he was like bouncing around, sniffing, bumping does.
That was fascinating to watch, by the way, because I had never got to witness that, where a buck has innumerable amount of does, and he's just literally going around just to see if any of them
every single one
are in estrus.
Lip curling, just
I had never
taking all the
seen
scent in.
It was so cool.
Yeah, it was.
That was awesome, and that's
tremendous.
what made it more nerve-wracking. Was we were like, well, what if he finds one that's in heat, and then just like jumps
And she
the thing
takes him
and
away.
Yeah.
See, and that's where I started to get worried, because there were a couple times he'd start inching, like you'd see him walk back to the fence, and I'm like, no. And then something would make him turn, like if it was another little buck or he'd catch wind of a doe, and he would just turn and start coming back. And then when he jumped that fence, I sunk. Because there was another really good buck that had actually come in. Not as big, but I would have been happy with either way. And as soon as he jumped the fence, my mind started to shift and be like, all right, where's that other buck? But then a doe had come down the hill, hopped. I guess he liked the way she smelled. And she carried him out into the field, and he was locked onto her. And they had milled around. He had fed for a while, and I don't even know how long the time span of this.
It was a good while. I'm going to say a solid 10, 15
Dude, it felt like an
minutes.
hour.
Yeah.
It felt like an hour. And so finally, she starts working to us because he was kind of like bumping her. Then she finally broke 3. But I was getting like real testy at like 320, 333. I was like, I can make that shot. I can do this. And I almost told Logan like once or twice, like, all right, I'm going to do it. But then she broke that 3 mark. She got to 267 or 264, and I ranged him at like 280 something. And at about that point, I was like, all right. I was rock solid. The way that I was set up on this pivot arm, I had like places to put my elbows. Like I was steady. And then she finally just took off for whatever reason. And luckily he didn't run with her, but he went the direction.
Were you dialed on your
Oh, yeah.
scope?
I was dialed. And she took him off, and I thought he had kind of walked at an angle away from us, but he didn't. It was just like I guess geometry speaking, but he probably just kind of like took a straight line, didn't really gain or lose any distance. So like, all right, he's probably close to 3 at this point. So I held for 3, and I asked Logan, I was like, I don't know how many times I asked you, like, are you on him? I think Logan filmed him for like, I think he got like 12 or 13 gigs of footage of this dude. And he's like, yep, on him. I'm like, all right. And he dropped. And I could see he was trying to get back up again, so I racked one. And I was like, I'm not going to take a chance with all these deer. We're going to lose him. Like, nobody's going to know which way he went.
It was chaos, dude.
It was.
In the binos.
It's a lot of tails.
It was a lot of tails.
A lot of tails.
But I locked back on him, sent another round, and finished it. And, dude, just like knowing that I had all of y'all up there watching it, and then like Logan and I just like were like freaking giddy little schoolgirls. Like, I pretty sure I mumbled nonsense after shooting him. I don't even remember what I said, but I was just like, dude, that's the biggest. Like, that's one of the biggest, if not one of the biggest, if not the biggest deer I've ever killed. And to have y'all there, like, and then y'all came down, and the Cole calls me, and dude, it was just a great cap to the week. Like, getting you out here, inviting you out here, come do a hunt with people you'd never met before, been to a place like this, but to come out here and camp with us, and like, you shoot a deer, then you get one, and just getting to be a part of all that, and like capping it off with that.
Dude, that ending was insane.
Unforgettable.
Because what was crazy is we heard the impact like way before you did. Like, it was almost like we heard the impact before the shot.
Yeah.
You know, just from the angle. So we knew you hit him, and then it was chaos, and then he was like kind of hidden behind the pivot arm where we couldn't really see. And we were looking at that other bigger buck that was running off. We're like, wait, no, is that no, that can't be him, no. And then finally, Cole saw him in the spotting scope, and we were just geeking, yelling, and we were yelling across the fields, 1,100 yards.
I couldn't even hear y'all.
Oh, man.
And then Cole called me, and he's like, dude, you just smoked a freaking giant. And I don't even remember what I said. Don't.
And then we had, what time did you shoot? Like
4:19, I think.
4:20. So we had well over an hour to just enjoy it.
Oh, dude,
you know,
the lighting
was like
for the
one of the
photos.
best sunsets I've ever seen. Like,
Oh.
the temperature was perfect. The wind calmed down, and you had all of camp there. Like, that just doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. And that, to me, like, I actually, I have never gotten to share a hunt like that with people before. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've hunted with my dad. My wife's been with me, or my kids. Always have like camera guy. Like, it's always fun to share it with somebody, but like when you've got everybody up there watching this just like unfold,
It was special.
It was.
Yeah, I've never been a part of that.
Well, when I had my doubts when Cole was like, yeah, we can go up there and watch and it won't bother these deer. And I'm like, well, I hope y'all are really freaking far away, because I don't want y'all to screw this up.
Yeah.
That deer had no clue.
No,
Not
dude.
a single deer on that field had a clue we were there. And we just
No.
standing back there leisurely watching through the
They
glass.
they never even looked at us. I think we maybe had one doe that kind of looked our way for a little bit, but not like.
Your hide was so sick. Those guys, Cole and Caden put together that was probably the coolest hide I've ever seen.
That was the coolest.
That's the waterfowl hunters in them, man.
That is a waterfowl.
They're like, let's go brush in a blind.
That was the coolest.
It was sick.
It was cool, but I did have to like do some self talk, because for a while I was like, oh, I'll let him get to 200, maybe 250. I was like, I'm not gonna shoot him past 250, and then I finally was like, dude, what do you?
No, your patience was great.
Well, and I had like this thing in my head, like, oh, don't shoot a deer at 300 yards. Don't do that. And I just had this in my head. But then, like, the more I watched him and the more I calmed down, I was like, dude, you've shot animals at 300 plus before. Like, what are you doing? Quit being a punk. Get on the rifle and do what you know what to do.
Straddle that pipe.
Get
on that rifle.
I straddled that big old pipe, and I shot I don't even have a name for him. Godzilla or whatever you want to call him. You shot Kong.
I would like to call him the Rowdy 8 because the landowner's first name is Rowdy.
The Rowdy 8.
And he was a pretty rowdy 8 if I do say so myself.
I like that. Yeah, that great way to end the week, end it, and to be able to enjoy camp one final day. We did some contenting.
That makes a huge difference too. Having a day just to process like what we all just did.
Enjoy camp.
Enjoy camp.
Cooked up some steaks tonight. One last night with the wood stove. Logan's over here, I think, let it out because it started to get a little chilly in here.
Can't have that.
No, can't have that.
Luckily, we had a lot of meat tonight, so hopefully get the meat sweats.
It's been
sweats. Chilly up here.
Yeah, it has. But it's been a great week. Appreciate you coming out, man.
Dude, thank you.
It's been a fun one.
An absolute blast.
Well,
learned a lot too. Learned a lot from you boys. So
it's always learned. I learned a lot myself for sure.
You learn something every trip. Every trip you learn it. But hopefully it's not the last time we get to go hunting. Maybe do a turkey hunt because you've shot one turkey before.
Yeah, one turkey.
Well, you've got somebody who's mad about them, so. Turkey is
they keep me up at night.
I don't know anybody that keeps years worth of turkey legs in their refrigerator.
After this hunt, we get home, like he is going to be in turkey mode. I know it. You might do like a couple of doe hunts back home, but he's fixing to
the switch is
After right now, the switch is about to flip for him, guarantee.
All right, so I'm ready to learn.
Well, man, it was a great time. We'll have to do it again. Appreciate it, and. We'll have to do it. So thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the HuntStand Podcast, y'all, and we'll see you on the next one.